It's 7 p.m. and that means it is time for another video from Tokyo Bada 23 about sneakers, sneaker releases, upcoming sneaker reviews and news and all that kind of stuff, which is what I do every single day. And today it's great to be able to bring a shoe that is totally Japan. I'm here in Tokyo, Japan, as I have been for the last 580 days of continuous YouTube content. Actually, I've been here for 21 years and 580 odd days is less than 2 years, and that's how long I've had my channel. But this is well, what you're looking at here is actually the expanding green screen of the thumbnail that I made for this video, which has a 2001 sneaker and a 2020 sneaker. Obviously the 2020 sneaker hasn't released yet, and you know already that what we're talking about is the Nike Air Jordan 1 Metallic Silver or Japan Grey or .co.jp or any number of different sort of configurations that the name's coming out with. The name actually doesn't matter. A rose by any other name would smell sweet, but what does matter is it's an absolute fire shoe. What's even better than that is it's a Japanese themed shoe, which takes us all the way back to yesterday when we looked at those Air Jordan 12s and talked about how they are inspired by the land of the rising sun, the 12 silhouette, not just that particular shoe, the University Gold from yesterday, and so that's great as well. But also it's a regionally exclusive drop. In fact, the original 2001s were the very first country-specific Air Jordan 1 ever to drop, and then here we are, 2020, celebrating the Olympics, the 2020 Olympics, which have been shunted back to next year. But that's not going to stop them dropping this absolutely fired shoe, dropping it only here in Japan. So that's a big deal for me, and it's a great shoe to look at. So with all that wrapped into a nice little ball, let's get into it today as we talk about the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 1 High Metallic Silver. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel des Mainichi, Absurdo de Mainichi Mite Kudasai. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And today, as you know from clicking on this video, is how does the upcoming release of the Metallic Silver 2020s stack up against the previous release in 2001. So almost 20 years ago that iconic sneaker dropped. Now there's a few things to talk about. There's quite a lot of things to talk about. Thing number one, 2001 pairs dropped back in 2001, makes sense. Very rare shoe, very exclusive, and then here we fast forward 19 years and they're only dropping 20 pairs of this shoe right here, the upcoming release. I've seen other numbers out there like 2002, but I think that's a typo, 2020 for the year 2020. But the thing is, if we rewind back to those 2001 ones, and if you go hunting for them right now, you'd think 2001 Air Jordan Highs, country exclusive, Japan, there's enough in there to make that, you know, a pretty big shoe. But to be honest, not really. It's still a three-figure shoe in the resale market, which is really surprising for one that just had 2,000 and odd shoes in that original run. You'd think that rare a shoe would have had a lot more sort of push in the resale market, but right now, as far as I know, from what I've seen on the places I've looked, it's a three-figure shoe, so it's not even a four-figure shoe, which is kind of surprising. And then if we fast forward to these guys coming up, 2020, only 2020 going to drop as well, but are they going to have that, you know, tepid resale value, or are they actually going to take off in a way that the previous ones didn't? But that's for the future. We'll only know that once the shoe itself actually drops. And another thing about the shoe is that because it's a Japan exclusive, I might have to go back to the good old days. Now, if you're ancient like me, I'm actually 44 years old, if you're wondering, even though I look a little bit older. But if you're ancient like me, you know, the original sneaker days was lining up in front of shoe shops and hoping that you managed to get a pair of shoes either in your size by the time your turn came around, or even if they weren't in your size, you maybe went for a different size. So that whole lining up in front of the store sort of era is kind of left us now with raffles online, things like the Nike Sneakers app and stuff like that, and even like StockX and places like that where you can get a shoe even if you didn't get it on the drop date. You can get it within days on somewhere like StockX, and sometimes days before the drop itself. So the whole kind of vibe of lining up in front of stores, picking a number, hoping that you get chosen, hoping you can get your hands on a pair of shoes, it's kind of lost us now. It's kind of gone now. But for these ones, it might come back for me. If this is a Japan only drop, if there's only 2020 pairs, it might be time for me to go back out there, you know, weather the elements and line up in front of a store. Hopefully, drop dates, we're talking July 25th, but now I'm seeing August 1st, even though they were projected for much later than that. They pulled that all the way forward to July 25th, and now they're pushing it back to August the 1st. Either way, it's in the middle of summer, and summer in Japan especially in the mornings, is a beautiful thing. It's a great time of year to be here. By mid-afternoon it gets a bit too hot, but in the mornings it's a beautiful time to be out and about if the weather holds. We're still in rainy season right now, so if I am going to do this, the middle of summer is a great time to do this. 3 years ago in 2017 I did it 3 times for the Butter Movement channel and lined up and actually made a rookie mistake and missed out on a pair of shoes I should have bought, missed out on a pair of shoes completely and got one pair of shoes which was an Atmos mismatched SB Dunk Low. So that whole line up front, the store vibe, haven't done it for a long time, but maybe that's coming around the corner for these guys here. So that's the sort of details of the shoe, that's the story of the shoe, that's how the shoe makes sense to me, that's my take on the shoe. But what's missing from all of that is the shoe itself, so why don't we actually get into that. Now my favourite place to look on the shoe is right here, and what you're looking at is a close-up view of the tongues, because I just love that overly emphasized, heavily tumbled leather effect on there. It's one of my sort of semi-criticisms of Air Jordan 1s is that I'm not a huge fan of the nylon tongues, so seeing these guys with that really like emphasized tumbled leather on there and that beautiful grey, which reminds me of the Cause 4s, which is a beautiful shoe. A friend of mine, the son of some man, has himself a pair of those guys. A very, very beautiful shoe, iconic shoe in my mind. Love the 4s, but that same kind of grey feel to the tongue on these guys, although the 4s, the Cause, are not tumbled leather, but it's the same. It's got the same sort of feel about it, the same sort of premium materials about it, and a switch on there. One of 3 switches that I'll bring you in this video today. Switch number 1 is that tongue. Material is the same, color is the same. Branding versus tongue color contrast that isn't there, grey on grey, still the same, but what is on the tongue itself is different. Originally in 2001 it was a Jumpman, and here we are fast forwarded 19 years and it's actually Nike Air, which I personally prefer. So that's a change up there on the tongue. Not too far to sort of drift down from there and get to the Wings logo on the side. One of my favourite things about this shoe is that the Wings logo is kind of embedded within the ankle there. Often, if not always, either the Wings logo is stamped on top of the ankle there, or it's actually a unit that's put on top, like a piece of metal or a piece of fabric or something like that. But I really like the fact that these guys here, and what you'll be looking at is the 2020s with the silver Wings logo embedded in that silver ankle there, which was the same in 2001 as far as design and structure goes, but as far as color, very, very different. You can see it's more of a gold feel to that 2001 sneaker, whereas in 2020 it goes for that full kind of solid grey or silver effect, and we'll get into that grey versus silver effect in a minute. But the last change on this shoe that is really notable, we've had that tongue branding, we've had that Wings logo colour on the side, and again it's a colour thing, as if you go down to the midsole, you can see on the 2001s it was a white midsole with a grey outsole underneath it, but they've updated that a little bit for 2020 and made it a grey outsole and a grey midsole. Sorry, the grey outsole is the same, but the midsole has changed, and again hopefully you're able to see that somehow here. Maybe I'll use the thumbnail and the point where the 2 shoes join on the thumbnail, because I did that thing where you cut the toe box off one and then the heel unit off the other and sort of hybrid them together, and you can see where one midsole runs into the other, that it's grey on the newest ones and white on the 2001 variant. So they're the 3 major changes in the shoe compared to back in 2001. So the tongue branding, colour same, tumbled leather same, but back in 2001 it was a Jumpman up there and it's Nike Air now. The Wings logo on the side was gold in 2001, but now it's grey. Again, the structure of it and the physicalness of it hasn't changed. And then if you go down onto the midsole was white and now it's grey. 3 big changes. And then the last thing I really want to do, as I said before, is I want to just give you a look at how the grey and the silver work together. It depends on the light you get these things in to be able to tell where the grey is and where the silver is. But hopefully what you're able to do here is look at it and you can see from the shot where the grey really sort of dulls down and gives a matte effect, and then the silver sort of really pops off of the shoe, and you can see the difference between the 2 locations as far as that's concerned. In many different places, it's quite consistent front to back. It's not like, the back half of the shoe is very silver and the front half is grey. It's silver and grey, silver and grey, silver and grey, silver and grey, all through the kind of length of the shoe. And I think the grey midsole on it now actually helps pull that all together. And then that hit of gold that is unnecessary on the 2001s isn't there on these 2020s. Now, if we rewind to the, I've forgotten the name of the shoe. It's an Air Jordan 1 that's coming out soon, but I haven't seen it on anything in Japan yet, which is one of the issues with living here. But it's the one that has the red collar, but the grey and the white lower half. It's I can't remember what it's called, but I'll put it behind me here and you'll be like, oh, you know, that's what it is, butter. I was talking in that video about buying those guys because I've never owned a pair of Air Jordan 1s. Don't shoot me, just hit the link down below in the description about why I had never owned a pair of Jordan sneakers, and you'll see my terribly depressing life of poverty. About why I'd never owned a pair of Air Jordan sneakers at all, and I have never owned a pair of Air Jordan 1s, and I talked about these guys being my first purchase. But you know what? I might make these guys a regional exclusive to Japan, going back 19 years to an original shoe that also dropped just in Japan, .co.jp. I mean, there's a lot there that says, yes, this could be a great first Air Jordan 1 sneaker for somebody. But silver, you know, well, maybe I could rock it, Silver Fox and all that. So I'll keep an eye out for these guys, and, you know, maybe I'll be out there lining up to try and get my hands on these one summer morning. For now though, time to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content. I hope you appreciate this look at those two shoes and see the differences and the updates between the 2001 version and the 2020 version. Time for me to chip off. It is now almost midnight, and this is the video due for tomorrow. So midnight on, what's the day today? Is it Monday? I think it's Monday. No, yeah, no, Tuesday. It's Tuesday today. And then this video, it goes up on Wednesday afternoon, so Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock. So I better get off and make that. Thank you guys for checking out the content. But you know what? I do this every single day, so that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.